Jack,
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck your brains out.
I didn't like the sound of that.
Welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. This is Brandon Ford. I'm very happy to announce that I have Charlie Glover here with me again. How's it going, buddy?
Doing well. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming back.
Anytime.
Yeah, last time we had Charlie on, we did kind of an intense movie. And this one, despite having the word chainsaw in the title, is a little more upbeat. So this week we are doing the what is it? Is it 88? I think it's 88. 88 cult classic Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, starring Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Jay Richardson, and Gunnar Hansen. So you've seen this one, right?
Oh, yes. Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface. Yeah, it's Fred Olen Ray is a classic B-movie director. Very interesting. He started out with the B-movie semi-porn, and now he does Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah,
so he's had a very varied career. He did a Hatfield and McCoy movie with Christian Slater, sort of in the middle of all of that.
Which one was that?
Hatfields and McCoys. It was It was an hour and a half. It wasn't the long one, the miniseries with Kevin Costner. It was a shorter one. It was like a made for cable. It's pretty good.
There's another director who used to work with Linnea all the time in the 80s, David Dakota, who he did Sorority Babes and Slam Ball Around and Creepazoids and a bunch of other stuff. And he does a lot of movies for Hallmark now, too.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's where the money is.
I guess. Yeah, it's like an elephant's graveyard for 80s B-movie directors.
Yeah.
And they make a lot of that. They churn them out. That's what I was going to say. The Full House cast has made a mint off of coming back and making these things.
Well, I think
Jodie Sweetin got her career back and went into them. You've got Candace Cameron. You've got what's your name? Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart. Yeah. That's where a lot of
yeah. I mean,
the actresses
use the same script a lot. It's all pretty interesting.
But I think that they probably use directors like Fred Olen Ray and David Dakota because they have made movies in like 4 days. You know?
Yeah. They can do a lot with a small budget. They can do a movie in 4 days or 2 weeks is usually their average film time. You get a good cast that can memorize some lines and roll through them. And these guys were good at that. And Quigley, she writes a lot about that in her autobiography that most of the time there's between 4 days and 2 weeks. They say everybody shows up on time. You get the job done. You work really quickly and then you go. So,
but you don't make a lot of money.
That's why you have to do so many of them.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean...
Yeah, it was funny.
You make your $4,000 and then you do another one and I guess somehow it calculates.
There's a documentary I saw, I remember, with Debbie Rochon, and she was saying how, friends had noticed how busy she was and that she had done like 25 movies in a year. And she was like, yeah, and I still couldn't pay all my bills.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being a screen queen is not very lucrative.
No, there was a girl that is a friend of mine, is a music producer, and she was going to record an album with him, and she got paid $2,000 for doing a B movie, and she was one of the lead characters in it too.
Which one was that?
Don't ask me right now. I can't remember. The moral of the story is that she made a movie for $2,000, and she did like 2 days of shooting, and she got paid, and then that was the end of it. I think it had Brian Austin Green was the main character.
Oh, that's not good.
So yeah, but I think that's where most of the money went.
Well, that would be pretty scary.
He probably had to buy a car or make a payment on his condo or something. And
child support, who the fuck knows? But yeah, we're gonna get into Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. But first, I gotta get the plugs out of the way. I'd like to encourage everybody to check out my books in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions on Amazon.com by typing in Brandon Ford. You'll also find my author page, which you can subscribe to get email notifications whenever I have a new release. If you prefer audiobooks, I have several titles available on Audible. Just type in Brandon Ford, and you can find them there. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. You can also follow me on both Letterboxd and Twitter at Brandon Ford. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, you can email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. Please don't forget to drop by the Blind Rage Podcast official Facebook page to like and subscribe. And most importantly, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Blind Rage Podcast on your preferred on your preferred podcasting platform. I never said I was a professional. So, Charlie, what do you want to plug?
I have some upcoming releases, potentially in the next year or so, give or take. The time frame I can't really say, but you can look me up on Facebook as Charlie Glover. Charlie Glover. I'm also friends with Brandon. You can find me through his that way, and you can stay posted through that.
Yeah, you can find him because he looks exactly, from what I remember, like Sean William Scott.
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
I remember I told you that once a long time ago, and you just didn't respond. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I wonder
no, I've heard that.
I wonder if he took that as an insult.
No, he's a great actor. I love the movie Rundown. It's a classic. Caw. But no, so in addition to looking like him, I write supernatural fiction, supernatural mysteries. I write some horror stories. So if you're into that, look me up.
There you go. And he actually owns his very own copy of Linnea Quigley's Bio and Chainsaw book.
It is very hard to find from River First Publishing, and excellent. Been a fan of her since I was since I can remember. I don't think you discovered Linnea Quigley later in life. I think that's somebody that we grew up with.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed her since Return of the Living Dead, Sorority Babes, of course, and the Slimeball Bolorama is one of my favorites.
Sure.
She's got a pretty massive body of work.
She does. There's this one movie that she did. I don't know why, because it's not very good, but I just kind of want to see it again. It's called Animals. Came out in 99, and it's a paint by numbers movie about a family on vacation, and they get kind of attacked by this inbred family who live in the woods. Very cheap, very low budget, but it's hard to find, and I haven't been able to find it on YouTube. But yeah, I would like to see that again.
I haven't seen that one yet.
No. What are you like? Have you ever seen any of her comedies?
Vice Academy, if you consider that a comedy. Yeah, those are pretty good. I like that. I like Creepazoids. I know that's probably like, I mean, half of her movies I would consider to be comedies, whether they're supposed to be or not. But
yes, I didn't.
Yeah, the Vice Academy movies are pretty good.
Yeah, I like Vice Academy. Assault of the Party Nerds as well. She's known for. I don't know. Whenever I think of Scream Queens, I always think she's the first thing that I go to. I think
she's like one of the originals.
Yeah. So have you seen any new movies lately? Have you read any good books? Anything you want to share with us?
I've read, the last book I read was by one of my friends, Mark Allen Gunnels, and it's called Tales from the Typewriter. It's a very interesting book. It's a short story collection, but like the wraparound story is about a guy who buys at an auction a typewriter that was owned by a novelist that had written one potentially important short story collection and never turned out anything else again. And then he finds that if he puts paper in the typewriter, it will write its own stories, and it generates works by this dead writer. Then, you know, of course, the stories in the collection or stories that are written by the typewriter. So it was a good book.
Mm-hmm. How about
movies?
You? Oh no, I haven't been reading as much as I will. I'm very fickle.
Movie-wise, the last thing I watched was A Picture of Dorian Gray. It's the old Angela Lansbury version with Donna Reed, and that one is an older movie. There's actually the cat statue that's in Dorian Gray in the movie that he somewhat, you know, sells his soul to and becomes eternally young, is identical to the cat statue in this movie that we're about to watch that we see towards the end during the ritual. So I guess that would make Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers an indirect sequel to The Picture of Dorian Gray.
You're reaching a little bit there, but
yeah, my suspension of disbelief is pretty strong. And other than that, I've been like marathoning the old NCIS reruns. Not really putting into horror, except that, you know, there's a private detective in this, and it's a cop show. But other than that, I haven't watched as many movies here lately.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't. There's a few movies that I've been wanting to watch or see, but I haven't had the opportunity. Oh, but I did just today get in the mail my German Blu-ray import of Dr. Giggles. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah. You like Dr. Giggles?
Love that movie. Larry Drake is hilarious.
Fuck yeah.
What?
Classic.
I know. What kind of special features does this have?
I don't think anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. It's still in the plastic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I missed that movie. That was a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember when it first came out, seeing the ads for it on TV, and like, that looks fucking awesome. I could not wait to see it, and I was not disappointed.
No. That was good. That was right up there with Darkman and Shocker. Dr. Giggles.
Yeah. I don't know I think it's since developed something of a cult following, but a lot of people generally are not fans of it. But
I don't know why.
Because they're stupid.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in people that don't like Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, I always love a dark comedy like that. You know, people because of Freddy and everything. I think at that time, a lot of horror fans had zero tolerance for villains with one-liners, but his were funny.
Yeah, they were.
I
think that Freddy Krueger was really the only villain with one-liners up until that point.
Well, you had Chucky.
Of course, yeah. Chucky. The first three in that series were actually pretty good movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the remake yet, so I can't really comment.
I don't think you want to do that.
The Mark Hamill version. I mean, how can you not have Brad Dourif doing Chucky?
I didn't like it. I mean, a lot of people did like it, but I just, Brad Dourif. It's like having somebody else play Freddy. Brad Dourif.
Yeah, they tried that too, and that didn't work. I mean,
that did not work at all.
No, even Jackie Earle Haley, though he may have looked a little bit like Freddy, it was just not quite the same. You can't have Freddy Krueger not being funny.
He was awful. I hated that fucking movie. But I might like to do like a riff tracks on it just to fucking make fun of it. Right. I did a solo one for the Friday the 13th remake, and I fully intended on making fun of it the whole time, but I was just angry.
It was straight by the numbers. It was not horrid, but it wasn't good at the same time.
Oh, I thought it was horrid. I was just angry because it was so fucking stupid. And I was angry at myself for making myself watch it.
Everybody died in a ridiculous way. They got rid of him in a weird way. It was, I mean, like the bloody murder movies that they did, they were total ripoffs of Friday the 13th.
Oh, you know
better than the Friday the 13th remake. And there were two of those movies, and his name was Trevor something.
Trevor Morehouse, motherfucker.
Trevor Morehouse. And those movies were classics in their own regard.
Yeah.
And I remember when I watched it, I'm like, man, this is just, I don't think the remake had come out yet. And then when they made a sequel to it,
no.
Like, yeah, now they're making a franchise out of a ripoff of a franchise. And it's just like totally blatant. And they were fun.
I remember I used to be on this message board, and there was a guy on there who was like weirdly obsessed with the first Bloody Murder movie. And he did what he called an in-depth analysis of the movie, where he went frame by frame, literally, and had a counter of like 2 seconds into the movie, what you see on screen, 5 seconds of the movie, through the entire thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a little crazy.
That's obsessive. That's
some
dedication.
Yeah, gotta give him that. That is something that I was thinking about doing for the show.
Frame by frame.
No,
no. We have a 24-hour show, a Bloody Mary, Bloody Murder.
No, commentary for Bloody Murder. That might be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
you'd do a double feature on that one, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Okay, but for now, we are doing Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, which is also super fun.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's got private detectives. It's got a lot of nudity. It's got a
lot of boobies.
A lot of chainsaws. And Gunnar Hansen. It's got Leatherface himself.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to watch along with us, you said it's on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube, but you're going to have to go through a couple of... It might have another commentary involved, or it might have... You can probably find it. I mean, I couldn't...
Yeah, I think this one's relatively easy to find.
There's one on YouTube where it's like a David Lee Roth video, and then it goes into the movie, if you can find that. Or you can probably find it on Shudder.
Yeah, it might even be on Prime or something like that.
How could you just not have a copy sitting around? I mean...
Okay.
Anyhow.
All right, here we go. So we're going to get started with a 3 count. So if you want to watch along, start your movie on play. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I was listening to Commentary that Fred did for
This disclaimer is nice. Sorry.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
These are the motion picture are real and dangerous, and they're handled by professionals. My conscience is clear.
My conscience is clear. That's my favorite part.
Especially if you are naked and about to engage in strenuous sex. That's funny.
But he did a commentary for oh fuck me.
Go on.
Why is the name escaping me? I keep Killer Tunes? Is that what it's called? I think I might have had a stroke. I know it's not Terror Tunes, because that one was terrible. The cartoon one, fuck. But he said that he used to do all those disclaimers at the beginning of many of his movies, and he was like, I really have no idea why I did them. I guess I thought they were funny at the time.
And is this the device?
Yeah, that's it.
Then what?
I think it's interesting that her character's name is Lori.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what that's a reference to. You know, in
Nice.
I don't know if this is still the case, but in the UK, they couldn't call this Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So they just call it Hollywood Hookers, but the chainsaw blade is there. So it's basically Hollywood Chainsaw Blade Hookers.
So you see the chainsaw, and then you see
the chainsaw blade.
So there's a picture of a chainsaw there
There's
instead
a picture of a
the
chainsaw,
word.
but not the word. Nope.
So you can have hookers in the movie, but you can't have chainsaw.
That's correct.
They have their own rating system.
They're a little weird over there.
Don't understand it. Michelle
Well,
McKellen, she's a great actress.
Who would she
In her
play?
right, in her right. She,
Oh,
This
Michelle
guy-
Bauer.
yeah. This guy, Dookie Flyswatter, his name's about to pop up in a minute,
Yeah, the bartender.
was actually the imp in Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama.
Yeah, I forgot that Michelle went by Michelle McClellan Bauer. But then she dropped the McClellan. Yeah, Dookie Flyswatter has been in a lot of Fred's movies.
Yeah.
I can't remember his real name. But it's
Can't
clearly
think
not
of
Dookie
him.
Flyswatter.
No, it's like Richard something or something. I don't even remember. I can't pretend to remember right now.
I think he might have died.
No, he's still alive. I think he's got something coming up that he's either does a voice or he's an actor in. He's still around. He just didn't do very much past the mid-90s.
Hmm.
And some of his stuff is voiceover, and sometimes he appears, in person. This one he's in person. He plays the bartender.
Yeah, and I've heard people speculate about what exactly his character was, if he was more than a bartender, if he was
He's evil. He's a part of the underground. What's going on? He shows up with them too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's like you'll see him later. He's like a druid or something like that. But he's definitely involved.
Oh shit.
Every time I look out my window, it hits me.
So we hear about that.
Yeah, I love
parody
a
of
seedy
the,
detective story as well.
The film noir
6 hours
parody.
I thought that one up. He must have had one wicked sense of humor. Things have been
Yeah, the narration in this is classic. That deadpan detective narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Smokes too many cigarettes, hasn't shaved.
For something to gnaw on. Now that's the kind of quiet that makes LA the kind of place it is.
My favorite
Yeah.
lines: I slipped on a piece of shit and I landed here.
Someone turned over a big rock because something weirder than the normal weird began chewing up the local citizenry and spitting little bitty pieces
He,
all over glitter.
Jay Richardson has been doing. You probably have seen him where you are in your region, but he's been doing commercials for lawyers. It's like, basically fucking
The kind of dark,
Slip and Fall Lawyers.
Like Ambulance Chasers.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic.
Every now and then, someone died.
I can see that. There's a guy, that guy looked like Cheech Marin walking by. There's Dookie Flyswatter. You see his back. This girl.
Yeah, you like Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle's cool.
She hasn't done as many movies as I would have liked. I thought she was really funny in Sorority Babes.
Yeah, I think that movie was all of those girls at their best.
You from around here?
Yeah. Where are you from?
Seattle. Just down here for
It's Bobo Hansen.
job.
Yeah.
Me too.
He's some kind of a clown. There's Gunnar Hansen.
What's your name, Seattle?
Bo Hansen.
Bo Hansen? What are you? A circus clown?
Not Bo. Just Bo. My name's smart ass. Bo Hansen.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Looks like Joey Buttafuoco a little bit.
She has a bit of the crazy eyes in this movie.
Yeah.
It's tender, plucky and care.
Oh.
Big stiff. What else?
I love the room that she takes him back to. It's so fucking cheap.
Oh,
It's like
yeah. It's
something
got a
right out
picture of Elvis and Christmas lights.
But it's just basically 4 walls. Or 3
Pretty
walls.
much. Three, definitely
It's
three.
something right out of a porno movie. It's clearly a set.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And nobody really leans against any of the walls either, or the whole thing would probably come down.
Yeah, they had to take those walls down to make room for the big chainsaw dance at the end.
Cheaper there.
I doubt that.
Definitely. It's probably the same room that the detective's sleeping with a girl in later.
You could tell me how they sink those big girders and all that wet cement.
Now, isn't Linnea's character supposed to be like 15?
And I bet you it's
I didn't think she was supposed to be that young.
I'm pretty well, 15 or
think-
16.
She's got to be at least, I mean, she's old enough to where her parents call her in as a missing person, but she's also old enough to be able to.
Well, I think she had a fake ID or something. Or maybe you're just not supposed to question it.
I tried not to. I mean, you see her naked enough times that she ends up with the detective at the end. So,
Yeah, so that's
I
why
mean,
I always
clearly
thought it
they're
was
together
weird.
as a couple. So, I mean, she's got to be at least, she's got to be legal in some manner. Here's
And
a motel.
Yeah,
Motel.
the last line of the movie is she's got a great pair of tits.
your place.
Yeah. Howard Hughes left it to me when he died.
Haven't seen anything like this since I left Okinawa.
Oh, a military man.
Drill instructor.
Mm.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, this is nice. Pair of ice skates sitting on top of the floor fan. All this stuff in a motel room.
Yeah. So when did you first see this one?
This probably many years ago. Many.
Your construction work
Back when you
You s-
rented them on VHS at the local video store.
really turned me on.
Must be the way
You've seen it a lot.
now.
A couple of times. I saw it, when I was younger, and then I didn't see it again up until we talked about doing this.
Sometimes.
I saw it probably when I was about 15 or 16. I definitely if I had access to it earlier in life, it would have been something that I'd seen at a much younger age, but I couldn't find it because this was not a time when movies, especially movies like this, were so easily accessible. And if the video store didn't have it, you were shut out of luck. And then like out of nowhere, Cinemax just played it one night, and I was like, oh shit, because it was one that I'd been wanting to see.
Okay, we had a couple of video stores in town. and they had a wide variety of all of the horror movies from back then. Burt Gordon, Fred Olen Ray, like all of those guys, and the Linnea Quigley, like, I mean, name it, like the Food of the Gods 2, they had just all kinds of schlock.
Oh, I can't believe you just fucking...
Yeah, I just went through, I mean, it was wonderful. We had sleepovers and read a handful of them. And
I can't believe we just brought up Food of the Gods. I totally forgot about that movie, and I was thinking about it recently. I was going to check it out.
Yeah, Gordon did the first one, and it was an H.G. Wells book. And then the second one was just a total killer rat movie, and it was actually sort of felt bad for the rat at the end.
Oh.
Like the best character in the movie. But yeah, those were some interesting. The first one was pretty cool because they had those little toy sets and then like real rats running around knocking everything over. You gotta cover the Elvis. You gotta protect the Elvis painting.
Yeah, because she gets carried away.
Mm-hmm. And the other painting already has splatters all over it. It's like a Pollock painting, so it doesn't even really matter, you know.
This movie is definitely a product of the 80s because she's totally ass naked and
he's totally still wearing everything he had when he left the bar.
He doesn't even have a button undone.
No, you don't even see a chest hair.
Relax, baby, relax.
And the hair is still perfect on her.
Before we even get started, do we?
Relax.
But then in a second, when she has a chainsaw, the shower cap's all the way on.
Yeah, it's on perfectly. Yeah.
To loosen you up. Now close your eyes, and Mercedes will bring you a big surprise.
Oh no. When a hooker with crazy eyes tells you to
close
yours, you don't do that.
Yeah, you don't know.
Oh yeah, baby, that's it. Oh, take me to heaven. Take me to heaven.
Your request, my demand.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
No, this is just people throwing styrofoam cups of blood at her.
Blood and a foot.
I like the hand that grabs her boob and she just pulls it off.
Funny.
You could tell she's having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know they enjoyed making this.
I remember that going on a little bit longer. Isn't there a line about when they say they worship chainsaws? It's like, I think Jay says, who do you pray to, Black and Decker?
Not usually my racket. My name's Jack Chandler. I find missing people.
Yeah, he was in
Once in a while,
he was in the Vice Academy movies too with Linnea. See, this was during this time they were all like a family. It was like a lot of the actresses worked with the same directors. A lot of actors worked with each other.
Yeah.
And Linnea, Michelle, and Brinke Stevens were considered, the biggest. They were like the creme de la creme at that time. I have no idea who the new Scream Queens are. I mean, like, there's still some who are still working regularly, but weren't around during this time. Like Tiffany Shepis, and Debbie Rochon, and sadly Julie Strain passed away. That still gets me. She was so young. But because movies are so different, they don't really make movies like this anymore. It's like you don't know.
Yeah, I
who
mean,
the
you don't really have
Scream
Scream
are.
Queens and Final Girls as much as you used to.
About as honest as any man on the force.
Because yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with, especially with horror, they're made so quickly and so cheaply, and they're just thrown up on streaming services, and either you see them or you don't, and then they're just forgotten about. You know.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Netflix originals use some of the same cast members and
The boys in interrogation screwed up big time. They thought
in their TV shows and in their movies. But
spilling her guts. Only problem was
Yeah.
I can't think of any names that come to mind of a teenager.
Yeah, but they don't
early
make horror
20s
movies
actress that
They don't make horror movies like this, because these are just meant to be fun.
what the hell? Why not?
These were totally popcorn movies.
Have some men bring the Cuisinart Queen in from
The Cuisinart Queen.
Thanks, man.
She has a weird 80-yard laugh that I never understood why they did that.
Daddy bounces her on the wrong knee one too many times. She goes searching for a new daddy.
Pounds full of them.
Yeah? Daddies or runaways?
Both.
I thought I was burned out.
nice, nice. Daddies are runaways.
Bring her in. You can wait outside the door. Yes, sir. Sit down.
She's still got her, hooker ensemble.
Yeah. Yeah. The makeup is still perfect. Look at the size of that lock. They have the biggest lock in the world on their wrist.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Lori, what's you?
Surprised she's not smoking a cigarette.
You from around here, Laurie?
Uh-huh.
You ever been to Oxnard?
No, but I've been around the world a couple times.
You ever seen this girl?
Pretty sure that's a wig, too.
What's the matter?
Has to
Still got
be.
your tongue?
Right there. That weird laugh.
Yeah.
That was Luke. That had to be.
Take a little trip with Lori, huh? All you gotta do is pick my lock.
Forget it, psycho. Officer Roberts, escort this freak back to lockup.
Ooh, talk tough to me, Daddy. It turns me on.
Get her out of here now. Let's go.
And we were talking about
See you later, boy.
Joe Bob Briggs off mic. One of the main things I always loved about him was that he brought these kinds of movies to a larger audience with Monster Vision and Joe Bob at the Drive-In. He did that on the Movie Channel. But yeah, he would introduce movies
Okay, I'll head down.
that you'd never heard of if you weren't in the know,
Yeah.
and you didn't know who Linnea Quigley was or anything like that. And because I couldn't find it anywhere, another one I couldn't find anywhere that I finally saw because of him was Slaughter High back in the 90s when I was in high school.
What do you got? Well, the boys on the beat found this.
And it's just crazy to me now when I think about all these movies that I could never find, and I just used to look at video guides and dream about seeing them, and they're all like so easily accessible either online or just on Blu-ray or whatever. You could
Oh
find
yeah, they're
everything.
easy. They're everywhere now, but back then you could rent them, and then there was that whole long period between when VHS died and DVD started before they all started coming out on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
They have a matchbook wrapped up in a piece of plastic. However, the condom and everything else, and the fingers are just in the bag with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
See you around, guys.
Don't put that in evidence bag or anything.
Mm-mm.
No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake that girl.
Yeah, Slaughter High was a classic. Cutting Class was a good one.
Oh my God.
That was the last. Brad
You're the
Pitt's
only
first
other
movie.
person. You're the only other person in the world I've met who likes Cutting Class.
And they have was it Martin Mull that was the guy on the hunting trip that gets lost?
Yeah,
in
he
the woods
was
through
the
whole beginning of
father.
the- Yeah. And he just like staggers around. This was absolutely pointless to the rest of the movie.
Happy chick and my missing girl. I saw the look in her eyes.
Yeah, that's basically all he did
She
for the duration of the movie.
and the cops had come up with another victim, or at least part of it.
That's a movie Brad Pitt would like to forget, I'm sure.
Oh, probably so. That was one you never knew that guy was gonna make it when you saw that movie. Like when you saw George Clooney was in Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
And Return to Horror High.
Yeah. This guy is just kicking all over that girl who hasn't moved. She doesn't move until he tries to leave.
You know, I always thought looked like a fucking total creeper is the guy who wanted to take the pictures with the baseball bat. And then she clubs him, you know. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
In this.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah. This is funny.
Being a dick is a 24-hour-a-day job.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going wherever I want. She was happy with that picture of Jesus on the wall back there. That's perfect.
What can I tell you? The kid just loved me. I told her I'd be real careful and I'd come back as soon as I could. Tears welled up.
He worked a lot, Jay Richardson, back in the day.
Meanwhile, across town,
he was basically, you know, for lack of a better term, he was a scream queen in his own right because he did so many of these movies with a lot of the same girls.
I don't remember him as well. I remember seeing him and stuff, but yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was pretty prolific.
These is the art on the walls in these movies. This is a picture of Prince Charles and Princess Di up on there. Underneath the guy that's sitting down.
Sounds like The Cure. On the during the dance of the chainsaws toward the end, those, what were they? Those tomb things. They were reused from the movie Vamp. Have you seen that with Grace Jones?
Oh yes. Vamp with Chris Makepeace. That's a good one.
Yeah, they use the same tomb things in them, and Michelle Bauer was supposed to be in that movie, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think she was supposed to work on it for a day as like in a small role, and they just had her waiting in the trailer the whole time, and nobody ever came to get her. Didn't know nobody ever to get her, and yeah, she talks about it on the supplemental materials on one of the DVDs for this, and she said, you know, when she saw those things, because she had since seen Vamp after the fact, but when she saw the I don't know what the hell they're called, those Egyptian things, it kind of left a bad taste in her mouth because she was kind of bitter about Vamp.
Oh yeah, that's weird. She, I guess, would be a stripper or something in one of those scenes.
I guess.
When it's like the little Asian guy from 16 Candles takes him to that strip club.
And what exactly is it?
That's the same guy, right? The little Chinese guy?
I don't know.
Baseball bats. Nude calendars for baseball.
But yeah.
All the little leaguers just love them.
Ugh.
Church groups do.
Oh.
Okay, homie.
So he's selling porn to little leaguers and church groups. That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can go the whole 9 innings.
He's such a creeper.
With a plastic wrap bat. There you go. Yeah, he is. That coat. The bow tie.
And the glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's a pervert. He can barely hold a camera.
This girl, I don't think I've ever seen again.
I didn't recognize her. She's good though.
Oh, that's perfect. Just hold out. Oh, that's perfect.
Some of these scenes in the beginning kind of drag a little bit for a movie that's an hour and 15 minutes, but when you watch these movies in particular, you kind of want to see, Linnea and Michelle.
Yeah, they make you wait.
Yeah.
Linnea doesn't show up until a half hour or so into an already short movie. A lot of those old Roger Corman movies are like that, where they're like an hour and 5 minutes, and you think, hey, this is going to be short. I can just knock this one right out, and it feels like it's about 2 or 3 hours long.
So close, I can't keep it in focus. Just why?
Roger
He was another
Corman.
guy that was good about reusing the same sets numerous times.
Oh yes,
and filming like 2 or 3 different movies over several
stock
different days.
footage.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of Roger Corman movies. He did a lot of erotic thrillers in the 90s.
Yeah, he did a lot of science fiction.
A lot of science fiction.
He did some good. A lot of Jack Nicholson's first movies were with Roger Corman.
Yeah. Little Shop of
And Dick
Horrors.
Miller. Dick Miller was in a lot of early Roger Corman.
Oh my God, Dick
Little
Miller
Shop
was
of Horrors
in,
and Apache
every
Woman.
single.
He was in a
He was in
lot.
like every
He was
single Roger
awesome.
Corman movie.
And then like Joe Dante brought him back.
Yeah,
He did a lot of good cameos, and John Landis, and a lot of he did cameos on like The Howling and The Terminator.
Cut short. Mine was just getting started. I came back to my office to dial the number on the match.
Cut short.
It rang a long time. Something deep inside me hoped there'd be no answer. No such luck. A woman picked up the phone. She said she was selling, but not a car. Mercedes was her name. Low miles, built for comfort, not speed. I agreed to meet her at the west side.
This dialogue is so ridiculous.
They reused that same joke twice.
Would turn out to be hers.
Another death by dismemberment in the news tonight.
Fred Olen Ray's son makes movies too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Recent death to an accident. The guy was just cleaning his chainsaw when it went.
Is he like a
Chris.
junior or what?
Chris, I think he was like Chris Olen Ray or Christopher Olen Ray.
Okay.
I know that they've worked together on some stuff.
It was just a little fairy tale to help the kids sleep at night. At the time, I was a lot more concerned about meeting this mysterious dame.
He's probably doing those Hallmark movies with him.
If I was on the trail of one of these psychos, I wanted to make sure I didn't end up in a paper bag.
But David Dakota, like I was saying before, who'd worked with Linnea a lot. He
They get
had
married in real life, right?
who?
David Dakota and Linnea.
No, he's gay.
Oh, never mind then.
No, she married Steve Johnson, who did the special effects. He did a lot of special effects. I think he worked on Return to the Living Dead, I think. And no, he worked on A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, because that's when he proposed to her. She said right after she had, because she was one of the souls in Freddy's chest, and she had to be all like KY'd up. And she said when she was all greasy from the KY was when he proposed to her. But no, I was saying that David Dakota put the guy who played Billy in the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the guy who played Ricky in Part 2 in a couple Hallmark movies.
Then I showed him how to make a shadow bunny on the wall.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Freeman from Silent Night, Deadly Night too. I
Eric
thought he only made that
Freeman.
one movie.
No, he did another one with Linnea and David Dakota called Murder Weapon, but he used a different name.
How'd you pick me out?
I should go back and mention that there was a child in that bar when he first walked in.
Oh, God.
And he was like 10 years old, and he was sitting in front of that martini, and they never really explained why he was there. Just he was there. And he was talking to the guy beside him, and they just look up at the detective. I didn't want to let that one slip past. And there we go.
So, tell me,
Jack.
Jack. So tell me, Jack, how did you come by my number?
Well, an acquaintance of mine. You passed it on.
Michelle was in a documentary. I don't remember what it was called, but she was talking about when she left the business and she moved to a small town to raise her kids. She had a bit of trouble in the community because, I mean, she didn't go around telling people, you know, I was a former screen queen and I used to do all these movies or anything like that, but some of the parents found out and rumors were spread that she had done porn, and she was kind of ostracized, and it was really bad.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, I think she had to move. She and her husband.
With the little number on the stage. She was shaking it pretty good, even if no one was watching.
I'm surprised Linnea hasn't played a stripper more.
Me too.
Maybe she can't dance.
You could have knocked me over with a
that was one of my favorite lines. You could have knocked me over with a pubic hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she can dance very well.
Maybe my life started to change. I checked the photo to make sure. It was her, all right. A little slinkier and a little more seasoned than she was when the picture was taken, but then the city life will do that to a dish like her. Warning bells started going off in my head, so I decided to put in a call to Harrison. If there were going to be fireworks, I wanted to make sure my friends in blue were invited to the party.
Yeah, the drink that was already poured when he walked into the bar.
This is a joke that's been done so many times since this. I think this was one of the first times I'd heard it.
Oh, yeah. If you've committed a recent homicide.
Yeah, well, if the whole answering machine
yeah, the answering machine of the police department thing.
Yeah.
Please.
I didn't have time to wait for the Metro boys to get around to my call. My date was back. I'm sorry.
That was mostly back when 911 was new, right?
I don't think it would. I don't think they did that.
I mean, I don't think it wasn't like legitimately that thing. I'm saying that the joke was original when 911 was new.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Not saying that police departments actually had a recording like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just this habit I have. I'm sort of a people watcher.
Well, I like to participate more than spectate.
Well, different strokes for different folks. That's what makes a Super Bowl. Drinking anyway.
It's a screaming organ.
He blends into the shadows with a little bit of shoe polish.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I knew it would be.
I just love intelligent men.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm.
He's really got this noir detective down, Private Dick. Even with his delivery. I wouldn't be surprised if he improvised some of these lines too.
Right, yeah.
Well, I've got more luck than anyone should have a right to.
Little Jack Lucky.
Unfortunately, it's all bad.
That sound his forehead makes when it hits the table.
Instead of the ass. That'll teach me.
What is it, like a tack hammer in a piece of wood?
If my head wasn't hurting so much, I'd have sworn I was in heaven. Heaven for guys who like big tits. And I wasn't in heaven. I wasn't even close.
I can't believe it.
This
Is
girl.
like
I like this girl, and I can't remember her name.
Been through a terrible ordeal.
On my way home tonight, I found you in the gutter. I thought you were dead.
I don't think I know her.
You bumped over me, huh? A lot of people wouldn't have had the nerve to do that.
I'm so glad you didn't die on me. That would have been awful.
Watch it be somebody that's like really
Where am I exactly anyway, huh?
My apartment.
well known among
Do you remember what happened?
these movies.
I was at a bar with a beautiful girl having a drink, and all of a sudden, lights out.
Is that it?
Have you seen
That's all I remember. Sorry, it's not very
Nightmare Sisters?
No.
I was looking through your
I think that's. Is that Fred Olen Ray or is that David Dakota? I remember that one. I think that one was David Dakota, but that one was a bet between him and Fred to see who could make a movie in the shortest amount of time, and I think Dave won. I think he made Nightmare Sisters in like 4 days.
Why don't you call the police?
And he had Linnea Michelle and Brink.
For a moment there,
Her voice sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure I do know her. I can't place her.
Hey, sister, what's with the bondage routine here?
I just didn't want you running away before I could get to know you better.
well,
Evil Tunes was the movie I was trying to.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
earlier.
right. Yeah.
an award for suckers given out annually.
That was a total brain fart. But yeah, he did a commentary on that one, talking about the disclaimer.
A real picnic for me, but well, you see, I've been seeing this other lady recently, and well, we're sort of, like going steady, so somehow I don't feel right about
Like Cats in Heat.
Yeah, he's just a yacker.
How dare you act like a pack of wild animals in my
He's not a yacker.
He's not an actor.
He's an actor. He's just not a yacker. He doesn't talk much. Up until finally now.
He likes to watch.
Well, I'm sure lucky you showed up when you did.
Don't be so sure. Ilsa.
I have an autographed 8x10 that I got from him because he did a movie with Debbie Rochon called Hell Block 13, and it's Gunnar Hansen, that is, and it's signed by both of them. I got it on Amazon. It came with a certificate of authenticity. I'm hoping it's real.
I'm sure it is. He wrote a book or two also.
He did. Well, he used to write a lot of poetry.
Yeah, like it wasn't horror either. I mean, it was actually pretty pleasant.
Yeah, he was very much an intellectual, but he also wrote a book called Chainsaw Confidential. That's on Audible.
Yeah, that's his autobiography, right?
I think so.
Like, I think he didn't want to play Leatherface in Chainsaw 3D because of, I can't remember what reason it was, but he played one of the guys in the beginning of the movie with Bill Moseley when they were in the farmhouse when everybody came to shoot the, you remember when they shot it up at the very beginning?
Well, they got Marilyn Burns back.
Oh, yeah? I got plenty of time. I don't have another appointment till noon tomorrow.
I'm afraid you'll have to cancel that. You'll be otherwise engaged at that time. Suppose you are wondering what's been going on, haven't you?
Oh, no. Seems typical to me. But I will admit that the sight of that chainsaw on the nightstand has my curiosity.
It's a very important part of our...
And they wouldn't give him more than scale for Chainsaw 2. And that's why he didn't do it.
Much more than that. It is the cosmic link by which all things are united.
Really?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I would have thought it was the other way around. Doesn't seem like you kids have been doing much uniting of anything around here.
Well, I wonder how much you got for this.
Not very much.
I can't imagine. A couple of free meals.
Arms and legs of young studs, and you give them...
He probably got a Happy Meal.
I mean, I would do a movie like this just to be in a movie like this.
Yeah, but they don't make movies like this anymore.
Not anymore.
No. And you know what always used to like boggle my mind was when I was a kid, I knew that these movies were very low budget and that they were made for a specific demographic, but I never understood how they were able to shoot them on 35 millimeter. And then I found out about the short ends, and I was like, well, that makes sense.
Come on, they didn't have chainsaws back then.
But they were the chainsaws of the gods.
But Fred talks a lot about using short ends in the Evil Toons documentary because he doesn't really like to use them that much, or didn't when he still shot on film, because sometimes they would get slightly exposed, and there would be like light around the corners of the screen. You never knew exactly what you were going to get.
Oh yeah, like it might burn through a break.
So what are you gonna do now?
And sometimes it didn't match because if it was a totally different stock.
Yeah, well, a lot can happen between here and Shop City.
But now you go in Tubi and you see all these movies that people shot with their iPhones. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and the found footage movies are the big thing.
Yeah.
Half of which are god awful.
Maybe I learned something.
A little late for that. We can't trust you to behave yourself.
You're making a big mistake, you know.
A little late for that.
Don't you worry about that. Oh, this is an official ceremony.
Did you like, or have you seen VHS?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm familiar with it.
It was a little too weird for me. That one actually got an audio a described version of it. Very weird.
It's one of those. I just must point out that they've got him tied to the bed. Yeah, they have his coat there on a nice coat hanger.
Hmm.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, I thought you said you were going to fuck my brains out.
Oh, I was. But this is much faster.
Hey, kid, how about helping me out, huh? I mean, you're the reason I got into this mess. All I was trying to do was deliver a message from your mother. I wasn't planning on turning into a deli platter. Is this absolutely necessary? I mean, don't they have hors d'oeuvres back at the temple?
Yeah, and when they do that dance of the
I'm loving the crazy eyes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're all over this movie. And I think that was a conscious decision on her part, because she kind of did the crazy eyes in Sorority Babies when she gets possessed.
Yeah.
Or she's under the influence. But yeah, that's that was for the character, totally.
Yeah, and then she sort of made it a trademark, right?
I don't think so.
Or she just did it in those two movies.
I just think, yeah. In this one, yeah, they're all over.
I don't want to go.
I mean, well, it's hard to rip somebody up with a chainsaw without doing the crazy eyes.
Mom kicked Mike out of the house?
Yeah, you seem upset.
I used to have this on DVD. And I remember there's a commentary with Fred and somebody else. But it's funny because in the opening scene when she kills Bobo Hansen, they were kind of ogling her. And it was Fred or one of the other guys, when she kind of leans over to put the plastic on the Elvis picture, he goes, oh, Michelle Bauer, wow.
Yeah, Linnea talks in her autobiography about how she doesn't, you don't see half of the crew until they go to do a nude scene, and then all of a sudden everybody's on set.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think that, she has to tell the people to get off set because they think just because she's going to do a nude scene that she doesn't mind people watching her naked.
Yeah.
And she talks about how it's different, like seeing it on screen than it is to do it in person, because in person is more like an intimate thing, and they have to get people to clear the set. Then, of course, you get the assholes that don't want to leave the set.
Somehow I don't think Mom would like that too much.
Well, in that situation, you have to make sure the director's got your back.
Yeah, she said they always did because they were so close. Like you said earlier, that they were all like family.
Yeah, she worked with a lot of the same directors.
She said she was pretty assertive as she got older, just telling people to get away from her.
Yeah, yeah. And the only people on set during a nude scene or a sex scene are the people who absolutely have to be there.
Yeah.
Craft services are not necessary right now. Go take a break.
I said I'm staying.
Oh, wait. He really hit her.
Oh, right then?
Yeah, it was an accident.
Yeah.
He said he felt really bad.
I bet.
Yeah, he really did hit her.
I was actually in a performance once and somebody did that to me and we just kept running with it.
You're an actor?
I've done some stage stuff and I've done a little bit of like a couple of commercials. I got cast to be in a horror movie and they never made it. Like, we did a haunted house to try to finance. Well, I mean, I was hired to be in the haunted house that was supposed to finance the production of the horror movie. And then after the haunted house, they never filmed the movie. And that has yet to come to fruition.
When was this?
About 4 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, I did the haunted house.
When did you do commercials?
When I was younger. I was a kid. They were for 20/20 Vision.
Oh, the eyeglass place?
Yeah.
I remember that. I mean, yeah.
I know. I mean, it didn't blossom into anything. But it was pretty funny.
And you did stuff on stage?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
But, I mean, usually like one-act plays and stuff like that. Nothing major.
Like community theater type?
High school theater.
Oh. Well, that's cool. I did 4 years of drama in high school, so...
Cool. Yeah, I was in drama and I did that, and then I did creative writing also, and then like after high school I just focused more on my writing instead of acting. I was a better writer, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. I mean, well, my high school didn't have creative writing, so I just did that on my own. Drama I actually got grades for because it was an elective. And I loved playing on stage because we did 2 shows a year. That was always fun, even though the show sucked and I knew I sucked. But I used to, because I didn't have any friends. It's sad, but it's true. But I didn't have any friends, so a lot of the time during lunch, I would just go to the computer lab to write. I used to write short stories in the computer lab or in the library during lunch, or read a book.
That's cool. Our drama class, we did more like one-act plays and like spot on like short pieces, and it was part of the forensics team, and we would go to tournaments and stuff like that. So
oh wow,
like I actually lettered in high school for acting, and then I went to we had a fine arts center in the county that everybody from the various different high schools you could audition for, and I had to send writing samples to it and interview with the creative writing teacher. And I got accepted to that. So my junior and senior year, I would do half of the day at high school and then half of the day in my creative writing class at a different school.
Wow.
So really by the time I got more involved in that, I didn't really have time to do the drama as much. I didn't do that in my senior year.
My high school was performing arts high school. Not a very good one. It wasn't famed. But yeah, you get the dance majors, drama majors, orchestra, vocal, and then we would all collaborate to do a Christmas show and a spring show. It was like a variety show type thing. And I wrote a couple of one-act plays that we did.
That's cool.
They weren't good, but
they probably seemed good back then.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, as a friends, we try to write some scripts and then act in the movies and like film them with their video cameras. Those were those old-ass video cameras that you had to hook up to the VCR and like record it from the camera onto a VHS tape. We made movies like this look great, though. I love how in these it's like the background's moving, but the guy in the car, they're sitting still.
Don't you have any idea what this place looks like?
They never told me.
That's why the wind never blows his matches out.
I think it has something to do with importing and exporting.
Oh yeah, the old in-out routine. Jeez, you wish they'd have some kind of a sign.
Temple this way. Yeah, that's easy to find. How'd you miss that, you stupid bastard? You didn't see it?
Listen, you sure you want to get involved in this?
You wouldn't believe the things I've done to get this far.
So what was it, her sister who was killed, or it was her friend? I think it was her friend, wasn't it?
Yes, I don't believe it's mentioned her sister. She's just here because of the missing persons case. That's how he found her.
Gotta be some good way into this place.
No, she ran away because she wanted to avenge her friend, because her friend was in the chainsaw cult and they killed her. And so she was trying to infiltrate. But yeah, they thought that she ran away, and so that's what her parents. Well, her mom. It's actually it's actually a multi-layered story.
Yeah, because the stepfather was involved, and the stepfather was evidently a creeper, and this guy wandered in on the wrong set.
No, the mother thought that he was doing something.
But then he wasn't.
That's why. But he wasn't.
Because she was bummed out that the stepfather was gone.
Yeah. Oh.
Is he the guy that played in The Tomb, that other Fred Olen Ray movie?
I didn't see that.
This would be the same Indiana Jones hat.
Oh, Jay Richardson? Probably.
You're kind of cute.
Yeah, he worked with Fred a lot.
Thanks. I think. Yeah, you're kind of cute too. Especially those beautiful.
Girls, how's it hanging?
We'll
Mm.
Soon enough.
Have you ever considered therapy?
I'm going to enjoy splattering you.
Hostile. Very hostile.
Did you find her skin book?
I found it online. It goes for like $100-something.
Mm.
Now your true nature is revealed.
What, on eBay?
Yeah, eBay and like A Books. It's hard to find it. You can't find a copy for a reasonable price, but it's a pretty good concept. It's like her and some of the other Scream Queens, and it's making fun of the Madonna sex book, sort of.
Yeah, it's like a parody of sex. Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be.
I remember when that book came out, how huge it was.
Oh yeah, it's
like it was shrink wrapped in the bookstores, and it was like $50, and it was like back behind the counter, so all you could do was look at it and be like, man, I was probably like 9th or 10th grade.
Yeah, I was 11 when it first came out, and I was a big fan, and I really
I was a
wanted one.
huge Madonna fan, but I was never able to get that book. I mean,
I finally got one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got it on
eBay. Oh my
eBay.
god.
Well, they had them still in the Mylar wrapping, but I didn't want one of those because I wanted to look at it. But the one I got, it's like it's in good condition. It's on my shelf. But the only thing that's wrong with it is it's like the back. The metal corner of the back is kind of curved a little bit inward, but you really can't even tell. It's very, very slight. So yeah, all things considered, it's in really good condition. Yeah, I wanted the sex book for years.
I still do now that you brought it up again. I'd almost forgotten about it. I mean, she's like written children's books and stuff like that by now.
Oh, yes.
And those are pretty good. I mean, if you... Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I checked them out at the library. But yeah, I always wanted to look at the sex book.
So good of you to drop by, Mr.
You could look at it online.
She did, yeah.
Glad I could be of some help.
You're going to make an excellent...
It sort of slid through the cracks for a long time.
You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about it.
I can't believe they didn't do a reprint because it was so huge when it first came out.
True, yeah, they did Justify My Love, and then you think they would have re-released it when the Immaculate Collection was big. It's probably a little too late to make a big deal out of re-releasing it by now.
Sex book was after Immaculate Collection.
Was it? Okay. So it was after Justify My Love.
It was.
In the video, and that video was controversy. And okay. Forgive me. There we go. There's a statue of the Egyptian goddess. That's what ties us back to Dorian Gray.
Oh.
There's 2 cats there.
You like cats?
I do. I love cats.
You have any?
Yes, I do. I've always had a cat at some point or another. I had one for 18 years, Mr. Bayer, and he passed away. And then these feral cats in the neighborhood adopted us. Like now, they'll come and go in the house, and they're not even feral with us anymore. Pretty cool, domesticated house cat, but they won't come to anybody else. Do you have cats?
No. I love them, though. I'm a big animal person.
That old school oil can that he just... See, there's Dookie Fly Swatter right there. He's the guy pouring the oil into the chainsaw. That's the bartender. He's got a jawbone around his neck.
Wasn't that canned applause?
Yeah, I know. They couldn't even get the actors to clap. Damn, knocking shit over.
These really aren't even tricks.
No, it's just like... and now he's... he has to be hammered.
Come forward, High Priestess of Anubis. Come forth and serve thy master.
And these are the catacombs that they had in Vamp. They were done on the street.
Yes.
Go forth. Go to the faithful, they may taste the blood of Anubis. The blood is the life.
Yeah, I think that was a New World movie. So it was Roger Corman. Yeah, so it makes sense. Because all these guys, they were all in the same circle, even though they didn't necessarily make movies for the same companies. A lot of these movies, like Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Sorority Babes and stuff, they were generally under boutique labels, or they have very limited video distribution. Because I remember Sorority Babes was under Urban Classics, and that was one of fucking, what the fuck's his name? From Full Moon.
Oh, Charles
Richard Band. Charles Band.
Charles Band. Yeah, sorry, I blanked out watching her play with the fire there. Yeah, Charles Band did a. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a few different like small video.
It's big thing. Yeah, there was a Full Moon Entertainment or Blue Moon.
Full Moon.
Full Moon
started
was when he did
with
like
Puppet
Dollman
Master.
and Puppet Master and the Trancers.
Yeah,
movies.
Puppet Master was the first one. Before Full Moon, yeah, he had like a few. Empire was another one. And then yeah, he condensed, and his idea was to make straight to video movies that had the same quality, or at least close to it, as the theatrical horror films of that time. But yeah, that idea kind of went out the window within a span of a couple years.
Well, I mean, they started out pretty strong, but then once you got up to Puppet Master 10, where they're going back in time and the Germans are involved, and it got a little hectic.
Yeah, it got a little convoluted with the whole Nazi.
It looked a lot better in the 80s and 90s than it did in the early 2000s when they still kept trying to do it.
David Dakota did a few of those too. The Dance of the Double Chainsaws is really just Linnea just waving the chainsaw.
Yeah, and you can see her arms straining trying to hold up both of those things.
Yeah, they're not light.
She said it took over 8 hours to put that makeup on. And that's the makeup you were talking about earlier, where that looked like on network television. They thought it was an actual bikini.
Yeah, they didn't know that her boobs were out.
Yeah. They're totally.
But yeah, I remember her boyfriend was coloring them in. Like they had like the whole crew, because they had to get it done. It was taking too long. I don't think.
It's very elaborate. It was only supposed to take 2 hours, but
yeah. I don't think Fred knew it was going to be as elaborate as it ended up being.
But I mean, it was worth it. It's like the all that chainsaw smoke in the air.
I don't think the sequin bikini bottom goes with it.
They couldn't go totally nude.
No, but I think they should have gotten something that was a little more
less Christmassy.
Matched it a little.
Yeah, something not quite as shiny. They could have found something that was green and yellow.
Or just like maybe just like a plain black. That would have been fine.
But like the headband's not as distracting.
Mm.
I wonder how many people passed out from that.
I'm sure people were probably lightheaded.
There's a very, very distinctive smell that those things make.
Yeah, the gas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the haunted house and we did it, like part of the thing, we were in this elevator that it would shake, and this thing lit up like it was an electrical booth, and there was this doll that was like a skeleton that was getting electrocuted, and then the guy with the chainsaw came in waving it around. And so the chainsaw was in that enclosed room for a few minutes while everybody's screaming their heads off. not so long as they were there.
Prepare to meet Anubis.
Yeah, well, I'll just scurry on home and slip into my tux.
Leatherface can't work a chainsaw. This is a bunch of
yeah, I
bullshit.
know. First time mechanic bullshit. You don't know who I am. These cops, they're moving a little faster than a lot of cops in horror movies.
I know exactly where you were going to go.
Yeah. And they left the sign up. That was smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could have taken that cardboard sign down and they would have gotten away with the whole thing.
He used to get the same expression on his face.
Oh, shut up.
Hey,
He was, he lived a good life, didn't he, Gunnar Hansen?
Yeah, he just passed away. It was just a couple of years after they did the Hollywood or Chainsaw 3D. He was definitely, he had snow white hair.
I think it was 2016.
He was what?
I think it was
2016?
2016 when he passed away, yeah.
Okay.
Did you see the one that just came out a few years ago that was just called Leatherface?
I did. Well,
Yeah.
they were. Yeah, there were a couple of Leatherface. There was a Leatherface part 3.
Yeah, no, the one that just came out that was I think it's the most recent one.
Yeah, that was the one that came out right after the. There was a Jessica Biel, and then there was a prequel to the Jessica Biel, the ones that had Lee Ermey.
Yeah. And then the 3D was a direct sequel to the first one.
Yes.
And then the
Leatherface was
one,
like an origin story.
Yeah.
Where he was
Yeah.
taking the pieces of skin and tying them up into the mask. That one was pretty good.
Really? I heard
mean,
nothing but horrible reviews for that one.
It was no Hannibal Rising. But it had some weird stuff. It was alright.
I know there were some pretty decent actors in it. Some
Yeah,
recognizable
that was
names.
sort of like where he was. Did you watch it or you just hear?
No,
he was like
I
younger
didn't.
and he had like a moral crisis about it, and then he's like finally snaps, and he had to choose like the family over the other people. I'd almost forgotten about that until you mentioned it.
Well, it was pretty forgettable from what I hear.
The one they're working on now sounds really good. And that's
the one that's just
that,
called Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Something, yeah, I think it's supposed to pick up. I think it's a direct sequel to the first one also.
Oh, God.
Maybe, or if it ties into part 3. I'm not sure, but...
well, yeah.
What's his name? McBride, that's... Danny
Halloween.
McBride?
Yeah.
He helped write the
Halloween
script of the last
20.
Alien movie and a couple of other horror movies recently.
Well,
He's involved with it.
Well, he shouldn't be taking any credit for Halloween Kills because that was a bunch of bullshit.
I thought they were okay. It was decent. I mean,
Uh.
it has some shit that I could have done without, and they all went away.
I just thought Halloween 2018 was kind of but Halloween Kills I fucking hated.
It was, I mean, I liked it. It was a decent middle of a trilogy sequel because it just starts in with the gore and it keeps going. Anthony Michael Hall was all right.
No, he wasn't.
I always like to see Anthony Michael Hall.
No, he wasn't.
If I see Anthony Michael Hall, generally I'm okay. My main issues with it were the fact that they had Jamie Lee Curtis was pretty well wasted. Because she and Will Patton were just in the hospital, and it was almost like they just spent 2 or 3 days filming their scenes and then intermixed them with the rest of the movie.
My biggest issue was it was completely unnecessary because they already did it before with Halloween H2O. And I don't like that they ignored part 2.
Introduce me to your lady friend then.
Yeah, Mick, this is Samantha Kelso. Girl I showed you a picture.
Samantha
I like
Kelso?
this.
Isn't that her name? Isn't that isn't that a character name from something?
Jack Kelso?
Samantha Kelso.
Samantha Kelso, yes.
Isn't that Molly Ringwald's name in 16 Candles or something? I gotta Google that shit. I'm almost positive that's
this guy's just melted away like toxic waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who gives a shit? Life goes on, right?
And that just about wraps it up for this case.
That'll never come back to haunt us. None of that will.
No.
That wraps everything. Yeah, everything's over now.
You know that it's
the clouds don't even move in their stock picture.
It's been up in the air for a few years now, but they were toying with doing a sequel to Slimeball Bolorama.
It was called Sorority Babes in the Bolorama of Death, and it was horrid.
No. It's a new one, and they're gonna have. I don't know exactly what the holdup is or what, but David Dakota was supposed to write and direct it, and Linnea and Michelle and Brink all said that they were going to be in it, and then it never happened.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Bolorama of Death? How terrible that was?
I saw that one, yeah.
Jesus Christ, I bought it on VHS on eBay, and I swear to God, it was like some high schoolers filmed it on a video camera.
I got it it was in a set. It was one of those sets of like 50 movies. It was called Tomb of Terrors, and it was a box set of like 4 movies per disc, and it was on there.
Okay.
And that was the main reason why I bought it, for that piece of shit.
Yeah, I got it for, I can't remember how much I paid for it. Too much that it was.
Some of the movies on there weren't too bad. Well, they're bad, but they're tolerable. They're like bad in, a fun kind of way. Because like Tiffany Shepis is in some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the main reason why I got it. There's another one called, it's not related, but it's called Sorority Girls and the Creature from Hell. That one's not too good either.
I haven't seen that one.
That one was around that time. It was like 89, 90, something like that.
What was the one that Rita Mae Brown wrote? She was
Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, Slumber Party Massacre. That was awesome. That one, there was like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. You don't follow me on. You don't read my posts too much. You don't know what an obsessive Slumber Party fan I am, or fanatic. Oh yes, and I have been fucking. You don't know. I have. Part 3 is actually my favorite movie of all time, and I have been. Yes, I have been. Fucking given or trying to. They don't answer me. Scream Factory a hard time because they put out 2 and 3 together on a Blu-ray, which is out of print now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a theatrical cut of Part 3 that's 75 minutes, and then there's the extended cut that came out on DVD that's 87 minutes. And they used the remastered 35mm print and interspliced the standard definition scenes that were cut, and it looks like shit, and it's a totally different sound mix, and every time there's a cut it's like so in your face. And this came out in 2017, and my vision was not great, I'll say that, but it wasn't particularly good either. I was still having a lot of difficulties, and I noticed everything. And if somebody with a serious visual problem can see how fucked up this shit is, it's pretty fucked up. And I kept tweeting them saying, "Are you ever going to put out a better edition of Slumber Party 3? I really want you to put out a better edition." They never answer me ever.
Difficult. It's difficult to do. Like they had a version of The Big Sleep, and there's 2 different versions of that with Bogart, and it's Bacall, right? That's in that with him. Yeah.
I don't know that one.
I think it's one Bacall, The Big Sleep, the Raymond Chandler movie.
I'm over here talking about fucking.
Okay, so anyway, like there were 2 versions of that
B-slasher movies, and you're talking about
I'm getting
classic Hollywood cinema.
They made 2 versions of that. One of them, like the woman was too veiled, and so they said that they didn't have enough of her screen presence wise to test, and the audience test, so they filmed the second version. Well, I found a bootleg that some guy had made. On, you know, when you used to get the VHS catalogs in the mail and get all these bootleg things, and he had spliced together the 2 versions of The Big Sleep into this 3-hour-long thing where it had like the scenes from each one of them, and it went back and forth between screen quality and sound quality as well. And the other one I have, if you like The Exorcist 3 and Legion, William Peter Blatty's director's cut of Legion has like, it's all Brad Dourif, and it doesn't have the Jason Miller scenes, and it doesn't have the exorcism scenes, and it's George C. Scott and Brad Dourif through the whole thing, which is a lot of philosophical talking, and it's mostly dialogue instead of, you know, in-your-face flashy violence and all of that stuff. But what they had left over of the shots were the dailies, and the dailies didn't get destroyed, so it's like you can see where the produced part comes up, ends, the daily begins, and the whole quality of the film changes. And, you know, the finished product is a good thing, but a lot of people complain, like you said, about the whole thing with the continuity.
Well, yeah, a lot of people do like Exorcist 3, the theatrical version, but from what I hear, the version that you're talking about is far superior, and the only thing holding them back from releasing it is they don't have the original materials to do it. I think all they have is on VHS. So
yes, so that's all that's available.
Yeah.
Well, they use the dailies, like I said. They've got it like it's a 2-disc collection, and you can get it on Blu-ray. And it might have been Scream Factory that released that one also, but it's good. But it's like if you're a fan of William Peter Blatty and you like the novel Legion, you'll appreciate the director's cut much better. But you know, Hollywood wanted the Preacher and they wanted the Exorcism because they said it couldn't be Exorcist 3 without an exorcism and without, you know, so they brought back Jason Miller, and evidently Jason Miller had such a drinking problem by that point that he couldn't memorize lines.
Oh yeah.
So they could feed him a line and then he'd parrot it back, but he couldn't like do the whole long speeches that Brad Dourif could. And so they cut it where he would have his shot and then they'd have Brad Dourif spout some words out, but in the other one, they just take Jason Miller out completely, and it's all Brad Dourif. And then they brought in Noble Willingham or whatever to play, or Nigel, was it Nigel? Whatever the hell his name was, to play the priest. And they put the age makeup on him. Anyway, I like both versions of it, but I like the Legion, the director's cut.
I haven't read Legion, but I have read the original Exorcist. It's a really good book. I was glad that they stayed so true to it with the movie. But so that was Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, a cult classic.
Nice, yes, that was a good one.
Sincerely. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share on the movie?
I am good. I love it. I love some detective noir. I like Linnea Quigley. It's nice to see Gunnar Hansen's face for a change.
Like the double chainsaw dance of the double, whatever it's called. And the fire eater, all that stuff was so ridiculously obviously padding. And the movie's only 75 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. It seemed like it was a little bit longer than that.
Okay.
But it has some pretty good dances and some pretty good crazy eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, it sort of brings back some childhood memories.
Oh. All right.
Mostly from hiding in the video store and finding all of those movies, not so much from watching chainsaw dances. Take that in whatever context you may.
And finding porn in the woods.
Well, sometimes you do. Why else would you go in the woods? It's like a snipe hunt, only there's a porno magazine instead of a snipe.
Oh.
You boys go in the woods and don't come out until you find that issue of Nugget.
Oh. Nugget.
Then the kids never come out of the woods.
Yeah, that's bad. We don't want that.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Because when
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
But I want to say thank you to Charlie for joining me this for the second go round. It was definitely a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely, and you're definitely welcome back for some more commentaries. And yes, I want to say thank you as well for everybody listening and who stayed to the bitter end, as I always say. And until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.